Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Enrichment Hour with your host, Mike Schwager. Now here's Mike Schwager.
And my guest today on the Enrichment Hour is my friend Devin D. Thorpe, journalist, author, and speaker. In going to the word that isn't bandied about much, meliorism, the belief that the world can improve and that humans can aid in its betterment, I want to say that Devin is one of the truly great meliorists in the world today. Devin, are you there?
I am, and it's an honor to be here, Mike. Thanks for having me.
I haven't used that word meliorism much,
but
it seems to describe you. You certainly seem to be in the world to make it a better place, and I guess meliorism implies that humans can aid in its betterment. Do you subscribe to that notion, Devin?
Absolutely. I really do think that the long span of history has made things better on the planet as a general rule, and that will continue. We face some big challenges, and we need to make a conscious choice to address them. But I'm optimistic that we will.
Wonderful. Devin, let me read a little bit of your background to the audience so they know a little bit more about who you are, and then we'll have a conversation. So Devin Thorpe is based in Salt Lake City. He calls himself a champion of social good. He travels extensively as a volunteer during service, as a journalist, finding heroes, and as a speaker sharing what he's learned. As a Forbes contributor, he covers social entrepreneurship and impact investing, reaching an audience of over 1 million people. He's produced over 800 episodes on his Your Mark on the World show, featuring luminary change agents. And I'm happy to say I think I've been on your show at least a couple of times, Devin. I enjoyed it very much. A best-selling author, his books, read over 1 million times, help people use money for good. To tell stories, he draws on his entrepreneurial finance experience as an investment banker, CFO, treasurer, and mortgage broker. Previously, he worked on the U.S. Senate Banking Committee staff and earned an MBA at Cornell. I want to start off, actually, Devin, by asking you, how did this all begin for you? What motivated you to get into the world of, what I think we both agree is the world of meliorism, to create a better world? What was your impulse on that, Devin?
Well, the trigger was getting fired, but the story really begins 40-plus years ago, back in 1976, when the Teton Dam near Rexburg, Idaho, failed. And that flood destroyed or damaged about 80% of the structures in the town of Rexburg. And so people from all around southern Idaho and northern Utah and elsewhere, loaded up on buses to go help those folks dig muck and mud out of basements. And one day that summer, I was only 11, but my father came to me and said, "Devin, would you be willing to go to Idaho with me to go dig muck and mud out of basements?" And I said, "Sure." And, I thought digging muck and mud sounded like a good time. I went. I had a great experience. I remember loading on the buses at 2 o'clock in the morning and being all excited. We got there at dawn and worked all day, and then, got back on the buses at dark and came home. And I remember I passed out as soon as I got on the bus. I had really worked hard. In hindsight, though, I recognize I probably didn't really do any good or make a difference. I was really too young and too small to help. But I had a shovel in my hand all day long. Occasionally there was even mud on it, or muck, but I probably really did not make a big difference. But because I thought I had, I felt great, and I vowed that I would never miss an opportunity to serve. Well, fast forward through my career, 40 years, you can imagine that I missed plenty of opportunities. But when I got fired, nearly 7 years ago now, it's hard to believe it's been that long, but when I got fired from that job, great job, I kind of channeled that enthusiasm of my youth for doing good and launched a new career. I started off spending a year in China, kind of finding myself, if you will. I was teaching at South China University of Technology, where my wife was also teaching, and we had a great experience. But
Devin, what were you teaching in China?
I was teaching business classes in English to students who were planning to finish their education in the U.S. About half of them did. So many of them have come to the U.S., and I've been able to connect with several of them here in the United States since they came. So it was a great experience. But that kind of gave me the opportunity to reset, recalibrate, and reorient in better alignment with, trying to be the person I wanted to be when I was a kid.
Wow. That's amazing. So it sounds as if what happened for you in childhood was you got in touch with your heart, with your passion. Isn't that true?
Sure.
And
yes.
And you never left it. You wanted to find that space inside you that gave you a sense of mission and purpose. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but does that feel right?
Yeah, very much, very much.
So, you want to tell us about one of your books that has been doing well? Give us just a little bit of a synopsis.
Sure. The best-selling book I ever wrote is a book called 925 Ideas to Help You Save Money, Get Out of Debt, and Retire a Millionaire so you can leave your mark on the world. I
accept. Sounds great.
It's the longest title in history. It probably isn't, but it's a long title. But that book, for whatever reason, has garnered a lot of attention. It's been downloaded over 1 million times, and so a lot of people have read the book. And it's had a lot of.
When one goes to, I presume it's on Amazon. When one goes to Amazon, does one have to put in the whole title, or just your name and a few words after that?
Yeah, if you put in my name, Devin Thorpe, you'll find all my books. If you just put in 925 ideas, my book will come right up.
Wow. And is the book still selling, Devin?
Yeah. I even produced an audio version, so it's now available on Audible and on Amazon as an audio book. It's available in print, and of course, it's available as a download. And the download is free on Amazon, so it's.
Oh, is that right? Wow. And and who is the publisher? Is it self-published or is it published by someone?
It is self-published. Yeah.
Okay.
That way, I could make it free. Right? If I hadn't self-published it, I wouldn't be able to give it away. I
see. Well, sounds like a book that deserves to be read and that potentially still has many, many more readers that could be benefit from it. As a matter of fact, later this week, I'll probably look for it myself. Many congratulations on that, Devin. Now, I understand that you just started a website called GoodCrowd.School. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, I'm very excited about this. For years, I've been creating online courses for other people's platforms. But recently, I decided to create my own platform, which we've called GoodCrowd.School. The URL, of course, has the dot in it, GoodCrowd.School. the .school is in place of .com. It throws everybody, even tech people, don't recognize that .school is a valid alternative to a .com. So they're looking...
Devin, excuse me, are you the first to use school as a suffix for an email address?
I'm sure I'm not the first, but I don't know anyone else who does. Anyway, it's a platform. We've got 5 courses on the platform today, and we plan to add many more in the coming months. So I'm excited.
Devin, we only have a minute left, but can you give us an example of one of the courses? I'll ask you some more in the next segment.
Okay, so one of the courses is on impact investing. So in using your money to earn both a return and have a positive social impact. And that's the most popular course on the platform right now.
Wow. And would you consider someone like Bill Gates high on impact investing?
Oddly, the Gates Foundation has not been real excited about that. I'm not sure.
Is that right?
They do have a group that does it, but they use a very philanthropic approach to it, and which isn't bad. But the impact investing activities they do there are fairly limited and generally don't return much of it.
Devin, hold that thought.
Okay.
We'll be right back with Devin Thorpe, champion of social good. This is Mike Schwager on the Enrichment Hour, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goley, one thing that you've helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Gotham Books presents Marriage Rules by Harriet Lerner. The book Martha Beck calls required reading for anyone hoping to interact successfully with any other human, not just for those in romantic relationships. Get your copy wherever books and ebooks are sold, and visit harrietlerner.com to learn how to change your marriage today.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Enrichment Hour with your host, Mike Schwager. Now here's Mike Schwager.
And we're back with Devin Thorpe, champion of social good, meliorist par excellence. And Devin, welcome back to the Enrichment Hour.
It's an honor to be back. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.
Now, we were talking a little bit about your new website, GoodCrowd.School, and we got into a conversation about Bill Gates. Well, can you just continue what you were saying about that, Devin?
Yeah, Bill Gates, I think, is still operating in what I would describe as kind of an old-school approach with the people who are managing the money solely for financial return, and people who are doing philanthropy, and they're doing tremendous work, I believe, doing philanthropy. And they do have an impact investing team. I had the opportunity to sit down with one of the members of the team just 2 weeks ago when I was visiting at the Gates Foundation, and they do have that initiative going, but it's all driven by the philanthropy side.
Right.
And although they look at the financial metrics, a lot of what they're doing is not intended to have a positive financial return. It's just that it may have a financial return. So it's a very philanthropic approach to what they're doing.
Is that because, Devin, they have so much money that the profit motive is not operative for the foundation itself?
I don't think so, because their investments are being managed without a social impact screen because they want to maximize the return.
Oh.
But I think their thesis
see. Just the reverse.
is, yeah, so I think the thesis is the more money they can generate financially, the more good they can do. And so they haven't fully embraced yet the idea of impact investing, not in a broad sense. But it wasn't too many years ago they hadn't done any of this. So it is certainly clear that they are moving in this direction.
I see. Do you know anything about Warren Buffett? I know that he has given a lot to the Gates Foundation. Does he do any philanthropic work himself?
Yes. Most of his philanthropy is the Gates Foundation. He gives billions upon billions to the Gates Foundation, and he serves on the board there. So he's actively involved. Now, exactly how active and engaged, I don't know, but clearly Gates views him as a partner.
I see. So, Devin, tell us a little bit more about impact investing. What is it you hope to impart to people who come to your site, GoodCrowd.School, about impact investing?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because I wouldn't want people to be left with the impression that the only people who can do impact investing now are billionaires. Because the fact is, in the not-too-distant past, that really was the truth. But that's quickly changing. There are more and more ways for ordinary investors now to do impact investing, some with very, very small amounts of money. You don't need to be a billionaire to do impact investing. There are lots of ways, and so it's a very exciting opportunity to think about investing in a way where you can get a return on your money, a financial return on your money, and get a social return. And there really are some very easy, consumer-friendly, process-friendly ways to do that. So I'm loving it.
I see. Now, tell me, there are a variety of what are called crowdfunding sites would you put that in a different category? As I understand it, crowdfunding is not necessarily for investors, but for donors who just want to have a positive impact in the world and not necessarily looking for a return. Did I get that right or not?
Well, there are really kind of three kinds of crowdfunding. And
okay.
One way to think about this division, and other people will divide them up differently, but I characterize crowdfunding in three buckets. The first bucket being donations, which you mentioned.
Right.
And then I would draw a distinction from donations to those where people are buying something. So a lot of people are pre-selling some consumer product that they will finish developing after the crowdfunding campaign. So there is, in this, we call it rewards crowdfunding, but essentially that's a new variation on online retail. It's just that the products are promised not 2 days from today, but maybe 2 months or 6 months or even a year out into the future or longer. Sometimes
right.
I backed a film project that I think it took 3 years before I got my copy of the film. And then the third kind of crowdfunding is investment crowdfunding, where in fact you can invest money and get a return on that, either in the form of a note or an equity interest or some other form of interest in a startup business or other business.
I see.
And so that is just beginning to take off now.
I see. What would be an example of the latter, of that third type of crowdfunding, Devin? Can you cite one example?
Well, the most active website for investment crowdfunding is a site called WeFunder, WeFunder.com.
Uh-huh.
And they have a number of all kinds of companies on there. One that I remember being fond of that falls roughly into the social good space in my mind is a company that makes electric bicycles. And you think about the way people use an electric bicycle, it's a complement to your own energy. It extends your own range and really can be in many places for much of the year a great substitute to a car. So a great way to take cars off the road. So,
right.
Anyway,
and what would be
one example?
What would be an example of category number 2 that you cited, Devin?
Well, one of the most famous is a company called The Coolest Cooler, and they developed a cooler that of the sort you might take to the beach that had a big built-in battery that you could charge up before you left, that would then allow you to recharge your phones. It had built-in speakers so you could play music at the beach, and then it even had a blender so you could make mixed drinks right at the beach. So it was almost kind of a party in a box, and was very popular. They raised $13 million.
Wow, that's enormous for that kind of vehicle.
Yeah.
And number 1, can you cite a good example of a crowdfunding site for donors?
Absolutely. For those wanting to make a true charitable donation, I would look at 5 different websites: Razoo, Fundly, Classy, Fundraiser, and CrowdRise. Those are the 5 nonprofit crowdfunding sites that I most often recommend.
I see. Would you have an opinion of StartSomeGood.com?
Start Some Good is a great platform for people who have a project or a company that isn't registered as a nonprofit, but will do a project that is focused on social impact.
In other words, a for-profit enterprise focused on doing good?
Yeah, exactly.
I see.
That's really what I think is now. I think you can mix and match these. Most crowdfunding platforms will allow most people to crowdfund there. I'm drawing some arbitrary distinctions that they wouldn't, but part of what I'm wanting to do is to make sure that you look like the other projects on the platform so that you fit with the community that is developing around that platform.
Right. Well, that's all very, very interesting. Are these crowdfunding sites making a difference, Devin?
There's no question. The scale now, it's clear that billions of dollars are now being raised each year in crowdfunding of various sorts. And so, yes, it's making a huge difference. A lot of that is truly charitable, the things I worry and think about the most. And it is exciting. It is disrupting the nonprofit space a little bit as people try to figure out how to raise money in this new world. And so those nonprofits that haven't yet adapted to this crowdfunding type model are struggling a little bit. We're seeing the returns on direct mail are falling for nonprofits. The return on traditional email is dropping. And so these crowdfunding strategies that I teach are important for nonprofits because the money won't automatically come in. They've got to find and develop new strategies and tactics to attract that money that's kind of disappearing.
Very good.
The money went away.
Well, Devin, we have to close this segment, but we'll be right back with you for our third segment, and we're talking to Champion of Social Good, Devin Thorpe. This is Mike Schwager on the Enrichment Hour. Be back shortly.
Thank you. By listening, you help prove that content marketing works. You need to engage your customers. We provide the solution. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
Hi, I'm Paul Downey, President of Senior Community Centers. Far too many seniors in San Diego go hungry each day. 2 in 5 don't have enough money for the basics. Senior Community Centers is the safety net, keeping seniors healthy and independent. But we can't do it without you. Please make a generous donation to our Fill a Plate campaign. Our goal is simple. Fill the plates of 100,000 seniors with nutritious meals. Make a gift at servingseniors.org or call 619-487-0720.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world without their smiles or their laughter? A world where children don't play or sing or dream or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we can't imagine a world without children. That's why we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children everywhere. Diseases like cancer, pediatric AIDS, and sickle cell. And we won't stop until every child is cured and every disease is defeated. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Imagine putting your business in front of 3,000 to 4,000 people every single month. Have you ever thought of advertising on the Cash Flow Show Direct Sales Radio? Successful direct sellers use every marketing opportunity available to them. Send me, Deb, an email at deb@debbixler.com to learn more about getting your products, opportunity, or services in front of over 3,000 ideal customers every month on the Cash Flow Show, Direct Sales Radio.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Enrichment Hour with your host, Mike Schwager. Now here's Mike Schwager.
And we're back with Devin Thorpe, champion of social good and meliorist par excellence. And of course, meliorism is the belief that the world can improve and that humans can aid in its betterment. So welcome back, Devin. It's really a pleasure to have you on the Enrichment Hour. And I want to ask you, I know you're very active with Rotary Club International in helping to raise awareness about the latest in polio eradication. Can you tell us something about that? Devin, are you there? Hello? Devin?
Mike,
well, it appears...
Let me check what's going on.
I'm here. I'm here. Are you there? Can you
Devin,
hear me
did
now?
you hear my question?
Yes, I did. I heard it was an excellent question. And the answer is that
for a moment I thought I was talking to myself.
Yes, I apologize. But I'm excited about polio eradication, and here's why. Polio is nearly eradicated. We are in the very final throes of polio eradication. So far this year, there have only been 14 cases of polio in the whole world, 9 in Afghanistan, 5 in Pakistan. And really, as we move into the winter months, polio doesn't spread nearly so well. And so I know everyone in the polio community is just holding their breath now as we move into the cold months that we can suspend transmission of the disease entirely. Because if we get it gone this winter, then in 2018, there should be no cases. So we are just nip and tuck. But there was a case reported in Afghanistan on October 10th. That was the most recent case. And with any luck, that will be the last case ever in the history of the world. So,
Devin, how do you monitor these developments? It's fascinating to hear you talk about this, but who is monitoring this, and how are you involved?
Well, I think that really is the $64,000 question. The more I've looked at this, and I've been studying this actively for the last 4 or 5 years, because this is really the what I think is this is the model for how we solve the world's big problem. Polio was a big problem in the world, and eradicating it was a tremendous success. You know, most of your listeners, Mike, probably don't remember, knowing people with polio. You know, if you're my age or older, you probably remember, and so you do, and I do, but our younger members of the audience, well, they may not know anyone that has ever had polio, because Jonas Salk famously came up with the vaccine in, I think it was 1955.
Right.
That was the first season that people got the vaccine. So my wife was born in 57. And so she is among the very youngest people who never worried about polio. But parents just hated summer. They just hated summer. They didn't understand why. For a while they thought it was in the ice cream. But they could not, they just lived in terror of summer in the first half of the 20th century because so many kids would get polio every year. It varied year to year, but 1 year in New York City alone, I think 8,000 kids were paralyzed by polio in one summer. And scary stuff. So to answer your question, there is a group of organizations called the Polio the Global Polio Eradication Initiative. And that partnership has a unique model because it has no infrastructure at all. It has members, but the partnership itself has no infrastructure. So you can't mail a letter to the Global Polio Eradication Initiative because it doesn't have an office. It has a little bit of website, but the website is served by the members. So the members are Rotary International, the U.S. Center for Disease Control, UNICEF, and the World Health Organization. And they were the original members. They've been members since 1988. About 10 years ago, the Gates Foundation joined the partnership.
Oh, is that
so
right? Tell me, Devin, are these organizations coordinating with each other?
Yes, but that's really the important thing here is that they are coordinating and collaborating. But Rotary doesn't dictate. The WHO doesn't dictate. CDC doesn't dictate. Even Gates, with all of its money, doesn't dictate. And I think that is actually the magic. So I go to the GPEI website to get this data and to stay current on this. But the exciting thing really here is the model for collaboration. I think if you create one organization that's centralized, even if it's made up of members that are contributing, what you end up with is one organization fighting the battle. But in fact, because of the unique structure of the GPEI, there really are 5 organizations bringing their own strengths, their own perspectives, yes, sometimes fighting for influence and power and trying to figure out what the strategy will be, but always putting the end goal of polio eradication ahead of institutional ego. And so it has survived remarkably for 30 years, and it's just, to me, really, it's amazing. It is, I think, the best model for how we solve big world problems, to have that, have real collaboration among independent, disparate partners, so that we don't eliminate.
Does the GPI, Devin, does the GPI have a website?
Yes, and so it's at polioeradication.org.
Oh, I see. Okay. This is fascinating to me, Devin, especially since they seem to have found a model for collaboration on major global issues. That this can work potentially, the model could work across the board on many vital issues. That's what you're saying, I take it.
Yeah. I really think this is the model, and as you say, it can apply not just for other health issues. So not only can we apply this to malaria, AIDS, tuberculosis, we can also apply it to poverty and climate change, right? I think, and so I think this is really a powerful model. The crazy, scary thing is there is some risk that when the polio mission is accomplished, that this collaboration will end and it will never be replicated. And that would be tragic.
Let me ask you, Devin, I mean, this is fascinating stuff. Is there someone or ones out there who are communicating with other organizations in relation to other issues on this, in appealing for the model to be employed on these other issues? Is there any one faction or factions that is doing that and promoting the model?
Not that I'm aware of. I hope there are. Because the model has been so successful. I hope that there are people at the WHO and the UN and elsewhere who are saying, golly, this worked really well on polio. Where else could we apply this model? And so I hope people are doing that. Certainly that's what I hope to accomplish with my new book that I'm writing, is to get people thinking about this model as a model for collaboration for solving big problems.
Do you have a working title for your new book, Devin?
I've been calling it 30 Years to Peace, but I'm more and more convinced that isn't going to be the title. But the premise is that within 30 years we can solve many of these big world problems, and that if we do, that would enhance peace around the world. So that's kind of the premise.
Are you considering any kind of communications, public relations, outreach to the media on this premise? I'm thinking of op-ed pieces or appearances on.
Yeah.
You're not yet there, right? I take it.
Yeah, I'm not to that point. I'm thinking I will probably do a crowdfunding campaign first, and then I will do exactly the kind of PR launch that you would expect as the book gets closer. But I'll probably do a crowdfunding campaign relatively early in the cycle, before the book is even finished, and then once the book is finished and we're ready to go to market, I'll probably launch a more traditional PR campaign.
Devin, I have to tell you, as someone who spent his life in PR, mainly on behalf of humanitarian organizations, I applaud you. And if I can be of any help in contributing to manifesting these things, please count me in. Remember my name.
I shall.
Extremely important, extremely vital. Well, the third segment is concluding. We're talking to Devin Thorpe, the champion of social good, the meliorist par excellence. I hope you don't mind that descriptive title.
I love it.
Oh, you do?
As you might imagine, this is the first time I've been called a meliorist, but I'm happy. I'm happy to be called that.
I imagine this is the first time. But we'll be right back with Devin Thorpe. This is Mike Schwager on the Enrichment Hour.
Thank you. By listening, you help prove that content marketing works. You need to engage your customers. We provide the solution. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
I've been bragging about Progressive Medical Center to you guys for years, and I'm so excited to have Dr. Agoli with us because, Dr. Agoli, a lot of people walk through your doors, and some of their biggest problems are they're just fatigued, they're tired all the time, and even though they're dieting and exercising, they cannot get the weight off. Why is that?
It's a combination of poor metabolism, inappropriate eating, but more importantly, it's due to a lack of education and really doing the right testing. A lot of our patients are metabolically compromised. What does that mean? Their metabolism is not functioning. The metabolism is responsible for all physical and chemical processes necessary to sustain life, and that includes energy. And without cellular energy, your body is not going to be a burning machine. Let's get back and teach our listeners to be a fat-burning machine.
It's been a lot easier to maintain my weight since Progressive Medical Center started treating me with all-natural supplements, learning proper nutrition, and that can be you today. No more frustrations about being tired or overweight. So why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today through ProgressiveMedicalCenter.com.
This is your life, live it well.
Gotham Books presents Marriage Rules by Harriet Lerner. The book Martha Beck calls required reading for anyone hoping to interact successfully with any other human, not just for those in romantic relationships. Get your copy wherever books and ebooks are sold, and visit harrietlerner.com to learn how to change your marriage today.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
In the military, things can change in an instant. Your personal life is just the same. Just like you protect our country, you want your family protected. That's why thousands of military members trust Navy Mutual Life Insurance. Navy Mutual is nonprofit, providing current and former Navy, Marine, and Coast Guard families with life insurance, no sales fees, and no military service restrictions. Protecting members on active duty and beyond. Call 1-800-628-6011, 800-628-6011, NavyMutual.org, insuring those who serve.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Enrichment Hour with your host, Mike Schwager. Now here's Mike Schwager.
And we're back for our fourth and final segment, and I have to say that the gentleman we are talking to impresses me so much as doing so much important and wonderful work in the world, Devin Thorpe. He is self-described as the champion of social good, and I've just given him a new label, meliorist par excellence, the belief that the world can improve and that humans can aid in its betterment. So welcome back for our final segment, Devin. Great talking with you.
Well, thank you, Mike, and I appreciate the new name, the new brand.
That's free of charge, by the way, Devin.
Thank you.
And tell me, Devin, tell the folks out there how they can best reach you.
All kinds of ways to reach me, but you can shoot me an email at Devin at DevinThorpe.com. That's DEVIN at DevinThorpe, THORPE.com. Great.
So prior to the show, Devin, you were telling me that you are a vegan. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
And
like
how did that
you,
come
as I
about?
understand.
How did that come about for you, Devin?
Well, my wife and I, as we have aged, have become more and more aware of our health. And, you know, trends aren't good as you get older, as a general rule. And so we were looking for ways to improve our health. And over again, we came across people touting a plant-based diet as a solution. And so we decided to experiment with that. And it's been hugely beneficial, especially to my wife, who's had all kinds of measurable benefits that her doctors kind of, well, how did you do that? So it's been great. It's been great in that regard. And, I think one of the things that's happened, though, I think she and I both had as a secondary consideration the environment in the world. Animal agriculture is not very sustainable, not very earth-friendly. It tends to work against climate change in a bad way. The methane that cows belch is much more damaging per ton than carbon. So they have a significant impact, especially our tendency to eat beef. So the environment was a secondary consideration. And a tertiary one was the rights of animals. But it's interesting, both of us found that very quickly, once we took animals off the plate, we developed a greater compassion for animals and feel a greater kinship with animals than we did before.
Right. Do you know John Robbins, Devin?
I don't.
John Robbins wrote the book years ago called Diet for a New America. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Oh,
sounds like my kind of book.
Well, and I think John is probably your kind of guy. Years ago, I met John. We're talking about, when was that? Somewhere in the late 80s, early 90s. I met John. I had read his book, Diet for a New America, and it was very much and still is, a very persuasive book about removing cattle from the picture. I mean, he made an eloquent case for how, first of all, just on the compassionate side, not to harm these very benign animals, and that includes the cow and the pig and the lamb, etc. But also how economically it makes a lot of sense not to marshal resources in grazing land for cows, but in beneficial plants for abundance and for putting more of that on people's plates, including in the developing world. The book is called Diet for a New America, and I was so excited about John, and he has a very active son his name is Ocean Robbins, who's got an active website, by the way. But do you remember the old? Are you old enough to remember the Donahue Show, Devin?
Oh, sure.
Well, I put John on the Donahue Show, and he was a smash hit, and I believe his book really took off after that. But he would be a great guy for you to know. Great guy, John Robbins, just a great man. And for me personally, it was actually somewhat in reverse, because when I saw video of the slaughterhouses and the pain and suffering and agony that cows and pigs and lambs are put through, I don't want to describe it. It's just horrendous. I thought to myself, we're eating their pain. We're eating their pain. And look at the state of the world on the negative side, And I think it was Gandhi and Albert Schweitzer who made the case for kindness to animals and the ramifications of abusing and killing animals as a karmic relationship of that to how humans are treating each other. It makes a lot of sense to me more and more as I get older and hopefully a little wiser. So I became pretty much a vegetarian. Now I'm leaning, bordering towards veganism. Do you also? By the way, you might be interested in meeting on Facebook Joanna Blad. Do you know Joanna, Devin? Joanna Blad.
I don't know Joanna. I look forward to meeting her.
You might just check her out and become her friend. She's a passionate advocate of veganism, very much disturbed by the cruelty and suffering that animals go through. I mean, to say she's passionate, Devin, is an understatement. She spells her last name B-L-A-D. And Joanna, if you're listening now, sending you my love. And I made the mistake to tell Joanna that I still enjoy half and half, the cream. And she ripped into me, telling me what how cows suffer in these factory mills producing milk. She just raised my awareness about that, and so now I'm looking for alternatives. But other than that, I'm pretty much off all meat and even fish. So. And by the way, I wanted to mention, I don't know if folks out there would be interested, there is a remedy for cancer that has to do with soy. Have you heard of Helan, H-A-E-L-A-N, Devin?
No. No, that's exciting.
I think you can find it at HelanProducts.com. It's pronounced Helan, but it spells like Helen. H-A-E-L-A-N, HelanProducts.com. When my mom, some years ago, came down with a very, very aggressive form of breast cancer in her left breast, I got a call from her oncologist to tell me that he felt she only had a few months left to live, even with chemo, radiation, and surgery. So I went into a frenetic research mode, and I found out about Helan. The product is grown in China. This is a soy product, but it is not a normal, average, typical soy product. And, there we go. Well, more about that in another conversation. But listen, Devin Thorpe, thank you so much for being on the show. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you for having
what
me.
you are doing is making a huge difference in the world. We've been talking with Devin Thorpe. And Devin, talk to you soon.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What?, Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Hi, Scale listener. This is David Finkel, co-host with Jeff Hoffman of Scale Your Business. I wanted to let you know that our newest book, Scale, was just released and to encourage you to get your copy. The book will give you 7 proven principles to grow your business and get your life back. Scale will help you work less by getting your business to produce more. Get your copy online or at your local bookseller. For more information, visit us online at scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.